Hey Swirly Savages, just going to share a little bit of how I decorated the carousel. So I did paint all of the base pieces and the panels with some antique white and then dry brush some teal on there. Now I'm using some of the IOD molds and some paper clay to decorate the base. So I did 2 of the rose strips and I'm going to attach that to the base using 3D gloss gel. Do that while it's still wet so you can kind of mold it around. And then as you can see, I did one of the keyholes on one of the panels as well. So the base and the top I've already put together with some zip dry. And just be careful when you're doing the pieces for the base and the top. The sides are not symmetrical, so you may have to do some flipping around to get those pieces to fit in there so you have just the same amount of gap between all the pieces. So now what I did here was just decorated with some stenciling, some of the crackle texture paste, and when that dries I'm going to hit that with the artesian powder. So I'm just putting some randomly on the base as well, and then when that's dry we'll hit that with the powder. So now I'm using some of the Sparks paint. This is Mermaid Sparkle, and just painting the base, and the clay molds are dry enough now that you can paint over the top of them. So we're going to do that. I'm going to use some of that Mermaid Sparkle and Raven Black to do some random splats on the base of the carousel as well as all of the side panels. I just took the Kaisercraft to the ephemera and did a lot of decorating. So one piece of paper decorated all these panels. I just used bits and pieces of it to attach in the corners or along the middle, just strips that I had torn. And just use 3D gloss gel for a lot of the attaching of the embellishments just to make sure they stay on there good, because I do want the panels to flip and turn around. That way if they're handled we'll be okay. So used all flowers from the add-on kit and lots of bling from the embellishment kit as well. And like I said, a lot of this is attached using that 3D gloss gel just to make sure it does stay well. So I did decorate both sides of all the panels, that way they can flip and get a different look. Plus if you peek through the trellis panels you'll be able to see on the inside, and it's still all decorated. So I did some random stamping as well with some of the Prima stamp. It's the music notes. Did that along the base, the panels, and even the center support. Now remember, these panels too, they're not symmetrical, so they do have to go in a certain hole on the carousel in order for you to have even gaps between all the panels and in order for the panels to turn. So make sure you've got that placement figured out before you start decorating. So this is where I started doing some of the splatting of the Raven Black as well as the Mermaid Sparkles. So now I didn't video the last portion that was decorating the top of the carousel. So as I was putting the carousel together in the panels, I did take some cheesecloth and I wrapped the string of lights up in the cheesecloth in order to kind of just hide all the wires, and then that's going to be in the center of the carousel. Then for the top, I did use some cheesecloth on the top as well, and then some Frank Garcia pearls were randomly scattered on the top as well as some flowers. Some of the flowers were from the flower add-on in March and some were from my stash. Then I added some of the metal heart clasps, metal hearts that were in our kit last month, just scattered those along the top, and then some twine bows just to give a little bit more texture. So now I'm just putting this together, and like I said, you do have to be careful